And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories viewed here can be found at our websites, IndianCountryNews.com and IndianCountryTV.com. Here are the news read for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. A man shot and killed by a tribal police officer in northeast South Dakota last week was identified by the county sheriff as Richard Bissonnette of Enemy Swim, South Dakota. Dade County Sheriff Barry Hillstad said an officer from the Sisseton-Wahpeton Tribal Police Department responded to a disturbance call May 8th at the Enemy Swim housing development. When the officer arrived, Bissonnette was outside the home and fled on foot. As deputies were responding, radio traffic indicated the tribal officer fired at Bissonnette when he turned around to confront the officer in a threatening manner. Bissonnette had a weapon, Hillstead said, but he gave no further details. The Bureau of Indian Affairs reports that 2 bodies have been found in the Fort Smith area on the Crow Reservation in Montana. The remains were found about 3 miles from where the truck owned by Teddy Littlelight was found. Teddy, his wife Juliet Toinita Littlelight, and their 3-month-old son Wyatt of Crow Agency were last seen on December 23rd. Their truck was discovered 2 weeks later. Family members said the FBI told them the bodies discovered are those of an adult and an infant. The U.S. government told a federal appeals court last week it owes nothing to 500,000 American Indians and their heirs who claim they were cheated out of billions of dollars in royalty payments. The long-running suit, filed almost 13 years ago, is before the U.S. Court of Appeals after both sides appealed a lower court's decision last year that the plaintiffs are entitled to $455 million. Far less than the $47 billion they said they are owed. Indian plaintiffs led by Eloise Cobell, a member of the Blackfeet tribe from Montana, have argued that the government has improperly accounted for the money and should pay it back with some form of interest. The government appeal contends that the court does not have the jurisdiction to award the money at all. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission says 8 petitioners and 299 challenges will be heard during the upcoming hearings on the Energy Department's application to open and operate a national nuclear waste dump in Nevada at Yucca Mountain. The NRC's Atomic Safety and Licensing Boards issued an order designating Nevada and California, the Nuclear Energy Institute, Nevada's Clark, Nye, and White Pine counties individually, California's Inyo County, and Churchill, Esmeralda, Lander, and Mineral counties as a group as parties in the hearings. The NRC turned away the Caliente Hot Springs Resort and the Timbisha Shoshone Tribe, the tribe's Yucca Mountain Oversight Program, and the Native Community Action Council. Hearings are due to begin sometime this year in Las Vegas. Osage Nation Principal Chief Jim Gray has taken a stand for freedom of the press. He issued an executive order last week declaring the tribal newspaper's independence from the tribal government. The Osage News is funded by the tribe. Last year, it nearly had its funding withdrawn by the tribe's Congress after it printed a story that was critical of some members. Gray's order states that tribal officials will refrain from interfering with the newspaper's reporting functions. His order also establishes an editorial council whose members will be required to take an oath to uphold the accepted ethics of professional journalism. The annual 8 Northern Indian Pueblos Arts and Crafts Show has been canceled after just 51 artists applied for booths, compared to 4 times that number in previous years. It's just the economy, said the 8 Northern Pueblos Director of Programming and Development, Valerie Lyon. The economy has had its impact on artists and sponsors. This year's shows had been slated for July at Winga Pueblo. Michael Miller, Executive Director of the 8 Northern Indian Pueblos Council, said the Arts and Crafts Show needs an average of 150 to 200 artists to make it a success. Artists have told Miller sales have been down at prestigious shows such as the annual market in March at the Heard Museum in Phoenix, Arizona. The Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino celebrated its 5th anniversary recently. To celebrate the May 11th date, the casino opened a new display featuring 5 guitars that belong to legendary musicians Eric Clapton, Bon Jovi, Van Halen, Elvis Presley, and Bruce Springsteen. The Hard Rock Cafe will also have a Jimi Hendrix guitar on display for the rest of the month, or up until sometime in mid-June, as well as memorable stuff from the bands Black Sabbath and Queen. Keep an eye open for that if you're down in Florida at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. The Wellbriety Journal for Forgiveness is set to begin this Saturday, May 16th at the Chemawa Indian School in Salem, Oregon. The starting presentation for this 40-day, 6,800-mile cross-country event will take place from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Chemawa Indian School Auditorium at 3700 Chemawa Road, Northeast in Salem, Oregon. The journey will visit 23 historic boarding school sites in 15 states to promote healing from the intergenerational and historical trauma traced back to the Indian boarding school era begun in 1879. Visit www.whitebison.org or call 1-877-871-1495 for more details, or stay tuned to IndianCountryTV.com, where we hope to be having daily updates and interviews posted there. Another update on a past story: the family of an Iowa tribal volunteer firefighter says he remains in an Oklahoma City hospital intensive care unit but is now in good condition after several operations. 60-year-old David Milby was burned over 26% of his body, receiving 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his face, arms, and back while helping battle wildfires April 9th near Wellston, Oklahoma. Milby's stepson Rocky Solemn says Milby has undergone between 6 and 10 operations as part of the skin graft process and may be released from ICU in the next week or two. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast and you for joining with us, and have a great day.